the advantage of a company or an organization like IR Global is it gives us access to resources and depth of bench that we would not otherwise have if we weren't dealing with an organization like this. Our engagement with the members has been great. On a social basis, some of the friendships we've made, some of the contacts we've made, some of the old friends that we didn't even know were members of IR Global. A guy I saw this morning, he's like, I haven't seen you in forever, and we knew each other from a prior life, and that's kind of been interesting. And then we're able to contact with Argentinian counsel to attempt to resolve a diamond loss involving several $1 million in owed diamonds that we needed someone to help effectuate service in Argentina, and we went to the network and worked with them to begin the process of going after the bad guy. Diamonds are really interesting. It's amazing how many deals get done with handshakes. And the paper trail is not always the best, and that's what happened in this case.
I think that the international network is extremely important because when you don't have a full service everywhere, you always need someone in another jurisdiction. And I find that at IR Global, I can just go right on the website, look up a practice area, look up a jurisdiction, and many times I found people in Germany, in Italy, in Japan. So it's been a really good resource for serving my clients.
We were one of the early members, US members of IR Global, and it's been a wonderful experience for us. I think that we joined in 2012 or 2013, and I think I went to my first event in 2013, not really knowing what to expect, and have met over the years some really wonderful, very talented people that has given us the ability to offer our clients a worldwide presence, which has been very helpful. Sometimes clients will call up out of the blue and say, do you have anybody, we have a problem in South America or in Brazil or in Switzerland, and the first thing we do is look to our roster of IR Global members. Either it's someone I know personally, which always is very important and very helpful. If not, I just reach out to the IR member global in that jurisdiction, and we have a connection, and they're usually very responsive. And it's really helped our firm give a much more worldwide presence and capability to our clients, which has been very well received over the years.
The level of engagement we have had with other members in terms of inbound and outbound referrals is really considerable. And it feels like we've been a member for many, many years. We have had inbound referrals from a number of countries, to start with the Netherlands first, but also from other countries as well. And for ourselves, we have sent referrals to India. Can you imagine? So it was wonderful to have met Alif Fazalboy in London. And all of a sudden, we had a wonderful contact in India who was able to help us. We have sent referrals to Belgium. We have clients asking for referrals to Thailand, Malaysia, Uruguay, Colombia. How wonderful is it if you then can be an alternative to an international global law firm, because we forge partnerships that fit as a glove for a client's request in that moment of time.
Being a small law firm, or rather law firm, of course, means a lot in order to compete with the bigger names on the market. And relying on 155 jurisdictions, more than 1,000 professionals in different jurisdictions, make you feel that you can rely on the support of other members across the globe.
As a trade lawyer, I've had the opportunity to meet lawyers from all over the world. I have a very large defense contractor client that has a very strange situation in Pakistan where they need a customs lawyer. They've had a US government shipment held by customs for a solid year. So through IR Global, I was able to find a Pakistani attorney who has excellent experience and good relationships with customs in Pakistan, who is definitely going to assist this particular client. Recently, a client came to us and they have a country of origin review. They're having a lot of issues with sourcing in China. Many of their parts are from China and they don't want to have products of Chinese origin. So we're doing a global review of their products. And the countries involve Turkey, Chile, Brazil, several different countries that will have to assist them in terms of figuring out the country of origin of the goods. And IR Global is the primary resource for those subject matter experts.
It is enormously helpful to us to have over 1,300 professionals that we can trust and rely upon across the globe through IR Global to build our forces when we need to litigate matters.
We found IR Global to be very worthwhile for ourselves as a firm and obviously for our clients indirectly in terms of referring specific areas, whether it be in a geographical location or in a particular area of expertise.
When one of my clients was facing also a complex situation in another country where we couldn't understand very well if the solution that had been provided was the right one or not. And I say, okay, don't worry, I will check with my network. I will ask for 2 opinions, and then we will have just 3 different opinions. And they were coincidence. So we felt really confident that it was the right solution.
I would strongly recommend to anyone having needs of finding someone abroad to get engaged with ER Global. To me, has been a very valuable asset to expand my international activity and the international activity of our firm.
We had an English accounting firm that we'd worked with for many years, and they actually decided they didn't want to do the PCAOB type audits anymore, so we were looking for a firm that would be able to assist us. And we met Michael Parkinson of Barnes Roth, and so they were really interested in doing this type of work, and we had found out that they hadn't actually been registered with a PCAOB, which is a requirement. So even though we're PCAOB registered and we perform the audit, anytime we subcontract, we have to have PCAOB registered firms. So we got to know them really well, and they were really interested, so we actually ended up helping them with the registration process. It takes about 2 or 3 months of back and forth with them, but they finally got registered. So there's a pretty big deal kind of waiting in the wings that we expect in 2023 that they'll most likely be assisting us with.
We have received several very interesting referrals coming from, the main one was coming from Portugal, a country which is beside our country. But we have received assignments from the United States, from UK, from Germany, from Italy, from, I would just say, the most countries of Europe we have received assignments. And the experience, I have to say, the average was very satisfactory.
We have cases all over the country, particularly if they're in federal court, which we do a lot of. We have the ability to call up another IR Global member. We need local counsel, whether it's Gary Davidson in Florida, who we've used many times. There's one of the members in Utah. We have him involved, I think, in 12 or 13 cases for one of our brokerage firm clients. And it really is very helpful to pick up the phone, call someone you know, and say, we need help again, or help for the first time. And that has given us a lot of, we generate a lot of outbound work throughout the United States. Same thing overseas, whether we had a case in one of the foreign jurisdictions, that we're familiar with the process and the arbitration, but we needed somebody, local boots on the ground, so to speak.
Thus far, we've engaged on 2 to 3 matters. We're in talks with a prospective client on a prospective matter, and we've already consulted with an IR Global member. In that case, it's in the UK.
Regarding our cross-border insolvency matters, we're generally engaged in matters that reach Western Europe and especially the UK. But since we have joined IR Global, we have started to work with Howard Coleman Coyle, and he's been an invaluable resource for us on a number of cases. And just to give us a sense of what the local framework is for a particular case that we might have, what the possibilities are as he sees it under UK law. And so I think there's a fair bet that we'll be working with Howard on some significant cross-border cases in the very near future.
One of the great things about IR Global is that there are times when I have transactions or things going on where I actually need many people in different jurisdictions at the same time. For example, I had a terrific client that was referred to me from a Japanese law firm coming into the US, needed really full service work. They also needed some areas of expertise that I don't do in the US. So I was able to reach out to IR Global partners in the US to help them. And we also needed some help for them in some other jurisdictions in Europe as well. So we were able to bring in some of our additional colleagues in Europe. So the nice thing about the network is, although a single transaction could be both inbound and outbound. We get a lot of people working together in different places. I've had similar experiences with a Netherlands and Israeli firm, a German firm. So there's just a lot of ability to full service a client across the network.
In the last year or so, I mean, I've worked with colleagues and friends in India, in Spain, in France, the US, and just last week, Bermuda.
Through that kind of global network that we have, you know, there's always opportunities that span across the globe, and I think that's one of the things that people do look for with us. I think that sets us apart from many other boutique M&A firms in Barcelona.
I think we are one of the oldest members of IR. We've been in the first congresses that we did in London at that time. And I remember I met a very nice Turkish lawyer, right, that basically introduced me a lady that was working at that time in corporate in Turkey, Dilek. And today Dilek is our general manager in Turkey. So we've got an office in Turkey and Dilek is our general manager. So I knew her through the network. I've been working with Mercedes Clavel in Barcelona and the other guys that are present also in Barcelona that are in the audit space, for example. And yeah, from that time we are crossing deals, you know, opportunities, ideas. Of people that were living close to me in Barcelona and they didn't know. No, I knew them also in London, okay, which is quite funny.
What clients appreciate is that there are almost 200 dispute resolution experts internationally. We may provide direct access to, so to speak, personally vetted. What we know as lawyers is that it's not always the disputes guys who would refer work, accept work, assist, help out. But very oftentimes it's the transactional colleagues as well. But overall, it makes the clients aware that we can either hook them up with specialist counsel in any jurisdiction, or we can just point them to some specialized counsel in the respective jurisdiction.
A Chinese company was looking to just recently set up a representative office in Dubai, and they're looking to overlook different countries from the Dubai office. So they're looking to expand in Israel, there is Turkey, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Oman. So of course, being a small law firm and counting on the experience of other practices in the region, we could get in contact with other law firms and get support from them in order to provide a unique service to the client.